let's stop, because this isn't honest. It's not where it really began. It's the setup I have now, the one you usually see in videos like this, but it's not where I learned to be creative. It's not where I learned to problem solve or finish messy drafts or keep going when I didn't know if I had anything left to give. It didn't start clean or curated or even functional. It started in the corner of a bedroom, a makeshift desk that shook when I typed at the foot of an inflatable bed. It evolved into a $20 folding table that I bought at Walmart and used for years, even when I moved to my newest place. Every space I worked in taught me something. Every upgrade, every compromise. The setups weren't perfect, but they helped shape the work. And the work shaped me. That said, this is the space of a working creator. So this is where the work is done. Here's the thing, it's still not done. It's always just becoming. But every single item has a story to tell about my creative journey and how I got here. We should probably start right here because, just like a lot of people, the piano was my first instrument. I spent hours of time sitting in front of a keyboard and playing over and over again until I found the exact right tune that tickled my ear. Now, this isn't the original piano that I learned on. I got it from a neighbor of mine, and he graciously traded it to me for some electronic drums. At the time, I didn't have a keyboard anymore, and I'm really happy to have one back in my life. So, thanks, Anthony. This is my Schecter Diamond Series Hellraiser, and I've written a lot of songs on this guitar. Some of them are out there in the world, and some of them are just for me and my friends. I don't write as much music as I want to these days, but sometimes when I don't know what I want to write or what I need to create, I just sit down with my guitars and just plunk around and think. And sometimes I come up with something, and sometimes I don't, but it's an option. It's whatever gets the creative juices going. The bass guitar is a Peavey Milestone, which I don't use nearly as much, but sometimes when I want to record a song, it's there, and I'm glad for it. My studio monitors are the Atom Audio T5Vs. I've owned quite a few pair of studio monitors over the years, and these are the best ones I've ever owned. The high end is crisp and clear. There's no low end mud. I think I'm going to be keeping these for a very long time. The monitor stands themselves came from a friend of mine who was moving to LA to start up his studio engineering career, and I had just bought a new pair of studio monitors that were probably overkill for what I actually needed, and he said, "Hey, I need these monitors. I'll trade you my old monitors, the monitor stands, and a couple of other audio accessories." I said yes. Dollar for dollar, I don't think it was an equal trade, but I actually needed those tools more than I needed those monitors. I have the best friends in the world because my friends bought me this chair for Christmas. And unfortunately, it might be one of the things that I upgrade next because I'm getting older and it's getting older. And there are some needs that I have with my back and with my posture that the chair doesn't quite address as well. But I did make some modifications to it to serve me while I wait to save up for that. And that leads me to something that's pretty funny under this desk. So if you're short, you kind of know where this is going. I struggle to find a desk that's the exact right height and a chair that lifts high enough to meet it. And I can never find that exact right combination. So for the sake of an ergonomic setup, I had to add cushions to my chair so that I'm in the right place at my desk. But that means my feet don't hit the ground in quite the right way, so I had to put something down here to rest my feet on. It makes me feel like a child. For my computer, I'm running my 2019 i9 Intel processor MacBook Pro. And yeah, I really wish I had gotten it a few months later because that's when Apple released the Apple Silicon chips and they're a lot better. But this gets the job done, so I can't complain. It's another thing that's on the list to upgrade. I have that connected to my Bridge vertical dock, which connects to my 2 monitors. These monitors are very old. They are not up to date, but they also get the job done. Something I'm also looking to upgrade in the future, but right now I'm not that worried about it. For my audio interface, I'm using a MOTU 1248. I actually assembled this unit because I used to work for MOTU. In fact, you can't find a unit quite like this one because they don't sell them with a wood panel. My buddy and coworker Kyle actually made this custom for me to put on this unit, which makes it the only one that's like this. The keyboard I use is the Logitech K850, and the mouse I use is the Logitech M720. This is a relatively affordable keyboard and mouse setup, and it offers a lot of functionality. In fact, I've rebought this exact same setup 2 different times, and when this one breaks, I'm gonna buy it again. That brings me to this little guy. It's a Targus wireless numpad, and originally I got it because the keyboard that I had didn't have a numpad on it, and now I keep it on the left side of my keyboard because it simplifies a lot of editing tasks. I've assigned a lot of keyboard shortcuts from my audio and video software to this numpad, so instead of buying an expensive accessory just for that, I just use this. It does the same thing. So I have a small filing cabinet that's not well organized at all. And above it, I display a book or an item that I'm feeling inspired by at the moment. Right now, it's The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. I mean, look at that cover art. I mean, it's amazing. Then I have another display shelf where above is Violin Blessed by A. Serrano. It's the first book we ever released under Emergent Realms, and so it holds a really special place in my heart. Just below that is an album from a band I used to be in. It was so much fun to write and record these songs with my best friends. Above all the random CDs and DVDs I haven't been able to bring myself to give away are my books. And I got this poster from a surprise book release party that my wife threw for me just behind the first 2 books in my series. If you love epic fantasy, you can find a link in the description. It'll take you to a free story that you can read that leads right into this series. Go ahead and check it out. These shelves are really just here to add some warmth and character to the room. I have a framed map of my epic fantasy world here, Louise's Coochie Copy from Bob's Burgers, and a couple books that are big inspirations for how I approach literature today. One thing you may or may not have noticed is that even though I probably am not the most fashionable person in the world, I do try to have a little bit of color coordination. Grays, blacks, and whites form the basis of most of the color palette in the office. There's a little bit of earthy browns with the hardwood floors, the couch, and the wood panel on the audio interface, while I use blue, green, and a lot of yellow to help the space pop a little bit. And finally, we have a space that I can use to kind of lay back and relax sometimes, because sometimes you just need to take a break and step away from the computer and just think or read. I spent so much time chasing the perfect room, the perfect setup, the perfect tools to make me the best creator. But in the end, that's not what mattered. It was learning to use what I had. This room didn't make me a great creator.
Definitely fit. That's fucking sonic.
It was the imperfect ones where I forged the ideas that shaped my creative voice.
Rob, yours not that big of a deal. Oh my God.
It was the people who learned, laughed, and lived with me. That's what made me a creator.
What are you gonna get?
None of this matters. None of this is real. You're real. Go create.